So you're thinking about selling your house. You tell one or two people and then everyone comes out of the woodwork and says, do this, do that, fix this, fix that. It's great, and it's great to have advice, but sometimes it's more important to know what not to fix, as it won't add more money to your bottom line after you get the repairs done. I'm going to go over a list with you right now, so stick around to the end and I'll tell you the one, and yes, there's one thing that nets the most amount of profit or money in your pocket for the least amount of cost. And it'll be towards the end of this video, but not at the very end, so you can't skip ahead. Before we dive in, my name's Aaron Kinn, and I have been selling real estate for 21 years in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex and have had this conversation with thousands of sellers. The one thing to keep in mind is when we're talking here is we're talking about houses that are in good condition to begin with, but maybe just need a little updating or maybe are just a little outdated. We aren't talking about a rundown home or a flip house or a home needing serious and extensive repairs and remodel just to bring it up to normal condition. So the first repair item we need to keep in mind is don't do partial fixes. If you're going to fix the house, fix the house. So if you're going to pick one thing to fix, fix it. Don't leave it partially undone. What the buyer thinks is, well, what else did they shortcut? What else didn't they do? Number two, the kitchen. A lot of folks tell you kitchens, bathrooms, these are the most important things. And while yes, they are big reasons for the buyers to buy your home, the kitchen just doesn't return on your investment. The average people get 53% of their money back when doing a kitchen repair or remodel. That means 47% of every dollar that you spend, and that's a lot of money, is going right out the window. The average complete kitchen remodel will cost anywhere between $30,000 and $50,000 and sometimes north of that. If you're going to live in the home and enjoy it for a few years, absolutely redo your kitchen. But you are remodeling it just to sell it, then you need to only worry about what you're going to get your money back, and that's only going to be about half. So I'd suggest small repairs, putting on maybe new cabinet facing, painting them, maybe some new pulls or knobs. That money will come back pretty easily, but the whole kitchen will actually cost you money. The third item we want to talk about here is one we already mentioned, the bathroom. And these are popular items that you hear on the TV and by agents, but yet they'll only net about 55% of return on your investment here in the Fort Worth area. So 45% of your money is right out the window when you go to sell the house. So maybe focus on changing faucets, maybe taking out that flat mirror and putting a frame around the mirror or a more fancy mirror. One caveat to this is if you have broken tiles or serious issues in like the shower tub enclosure, then you may need to do a complete overhaul on that because those issues can cost you more money than actually fixing and reselling if they're not addressed. Okay, new doors. Get a new front door, maybe a new back door, and you'll get 72% of your money back from this one. So this one statistically is a pretty good repair, but you can get away with just painting it, change with better hardware or electronic key set. Those items are worth the money, but going fancy and getting a $6,000 or $7,000 metal front door may not bring the return that you hoped for. Fifth on the list is a new patio cover outdoor kitchen. These are expensive additions and often involve tying into a roof, adding gas lines, etc., etc. Though they do a wonder for the backyard, they will only net you about a 78% return on your investment. While it is one of the best on the list, it still doesn't give you a positive ROI. Coming in at number 6 on the list is a new roof. We often talk to the sellers that are very proud of their new roof and the tens of thousands that they've spent on them. But here in Texas, you're only about one good hailstorm away from needing another one. So instead of dumping a ton of money into a new roof, now I am, of course, assuming it doesn't need replacing. You just want maybe to upgrade the look or look for other items that will add value to the home. The roof just isn't it. You're only going to net about 60% of your money back when you sell the home. The better thing would have had to have a roofer come to your house, check the items that may be deficient or may need a minor fix on. The problem here is that a lot of roofers are excellent salespeople as well. So don't just Google or pick the one out of the hat or the truck that drives by you. Give me a call or send me a text and we can refer you to a quality roofing contractor that is honest and professional and won't sell you a roof just to sell you a roof. We see this all too often, and some of the biggest companies that come immediately to the top of your head are some of the biggest offenders. We've talked about throwing money out of the window, so let's talk about actual windows now. A lot of people go out and say, I have old windows. The house was built in whatever year, and the windows just aren't energy efficient, and I need to replace these windows. I have often talked to sellers that are getting ready to list their home and they're wanting to do this, and I have to talk them out of it. Though the new windows are really nice and are much better for efficiency's sake, I have never had a home not sell because the windows they had in the house, or sell specifically for having new windows. And yes, windows are nice, but they're expensive. And they can actually add up to thousands or tens of thousands of dollars depending on how many you have. And you're going to lose 30% of your investment that you invest into the house. For the 8th item on this list, it's not so smart to invest your money on repairs that aren't going to have a return. Now, one that has minor return is an HVAC unit. In Texas, these are a must-have. When talking about an HVAC, this is kind of on the border. And I typically start with 2 questions. Do the units work, number 1? And number 2, do they cool efficiently? If the answer to these questions are yes, then there's no need to replace them. Maybe just a servicing is all that's needed. If one of the answers is no, this may be where we need to invest a little bit more money and replace the HVAC units, because it does add about 3 to 5% of its cost back to you in equity. If it's not 100% necessarily, I don't say go do this though. There's better ways to invest your money. All 8 of the items on this list that we've run through make a home more desirable, easier to sell, and sell for more money. But they don't necessarily return money to you, the home seller. One way to look at these investments and upgrades is to do them while living in the home. So you get enjoyment out of them, and then that enjoyment coupled with return in a few years to come will make any of these 8 items well worth your investment. Just not when you're remodeling specifically to sell your home. Remember, we want to make sure that you put the most profit and return the most equity to you, not necessarily sell for the highest price. Because if you invest $100,000 into a property and you get only $75,000 back after you do those repairs, you've lost $25,000, even if yours is the highest sale ever recorded in the neighborhood. So the more preferable process is we guide you through what to do and maybe what not to do to put the most amount of money in your pocket after the sale. Now let's get to my earlier promise and tell you the one thing, yes, just one, that is actually, well, there's actually a few of them, and you can look at this video to see those, but this one returns the most amount of money instantly. Drum roll, please. Paint. I have sold thousands of homes, and paint does more to improve the look of a home and returns the most money to you when completed. The average ROI is about 150%. If you have popcorn ceilings, I know it's a mess and a pain in the rear, but it's 1,000,000% worth getting rid of them, texturing, and then painting the ceilings. Crazy colors or anything that isn't a neutral color, paint it. Remember, when you make the decision to sell, it's no longer your home. It's the future home of the buyer that's buying your property or the buyer you're attracting to buy your home. And nothing does it better than paint. This is more common in teenagers' rooms that are pink, black, purple, dark blue, or a myriad of other colors. Or maybe it's just my teenagers' rooms. But anyways, break out the kills, get out some neutral paint, and improve your sales price. There are a lot of sellers that say, well, the buyer can easily paint it. Well, that is true. Buyers want to pick up their stuff where they are, put it down in the home that they buy, and they don't want to have to go through a bunch of unnecessary repairs like repainting a home. So get out the brushes or hire it out. And if you need painters, I have excellent ones I can refer you to, as this is the item that is typically recommended by me as the #1 item to improve your overall sellable condition. So again, think carefully before you do any work on your house, because there's a multitude of items you just don't have to repair in order to put the most amount of money in your pocket at the end of the sale. I think a lot of agents go overboard in instructing their clients to remodel, but don't necessarily have their seller's best interest or equity in mind. They advise them of this because the home does look much better, and for the agent, it's much easier to sell when the entire thing is completely remodeled, but doesn't necessarily make the seller the most amount of money. So hopefully you found this information useful, and you want to know 4 other items that are easy and quick fixes that can add money to your bottom line. I'll pop that video up on the screen, but thanks again for spending a few minutes with me here watching this video. And if you are in the process of selling, or even remotely thinking about it in the next couple years, reach out to me in any method on the screen here. And I'd love to talk to you about your particular situation and even put together a free home equity report for you. If you haven't already, please bang that like and subscribe button and hit the little bell icon to be notified of any of my future videos as soon as they come out. I greatly appreciate it, as it helps our channel grow and helps us reach more sellers and buyers just like you. I hope you have a blessed day, and I'll see you on the next video.